This is a pallet storing kind of like warehouse, a site where they have stacks and stacks of fuel, clearly.
And we know based on experience, when these pallets burn, they burn for hours. So this is happening along Grant Line Road in the community of Bonta. The fire started about 2 o'clock this morning, so it has been burning like this for 3 hours. And it is, as you can see on this map, near an elementary school.
Yeah, let's go right now to Melanie Wingo. She is there live. Melanie, what is the very latest on this?
Well, we were about a half-mile away from the fire at our last location, but I wanted to get you all closer to where the elementary school is, which is just across the street from this pallet facility, and take a look. Where we're standing here at Grant Line Road and 7th/El Rancho Road, I can feel the heat coming from this facility, so you can only imagine what the fire crews are dealing with as they are so close up to it. Extraordinary flames leaping into the sky, this column of smoke swirling also high up into the sky, and where we are right now, I can see just embers raining around the immediate area, including overhead where we are. You can also see what crews are dealing with right now, because if you'll swing around right here, you can see at least one power pole near the facility right here. It's smoking, and it is clearly part of this fire scene and something that's compromised.
Delays on westbound 205 right now. In fact, as Melanie reported, you can see this from the road, and we can see it from the Caltrans camera. This is the camera located right here at the I-5-205 split, and off in the distance, you can see the glow of that fire, and that is why we are seeing stop-and-go traffic for those of you coming in southbound I-5 onto 205. The fire is burning right here, not far from the freeway, but of course, as Melanie had said earlier, you can see it from I-5 from 30 miles away.
Good news is that the wind is pretty light, right, Tam?
It is light, but as some of that smoke kind of drives up into the upper atmosphere, some of it kind of waffles back down eventually. And if you are waking up and smelling any sort of smoke, it is a good idea that you close the windows.
Again, we continue to follow breaking news, that massive fire burning just outside of Tracy.
This is a live look at the flames. This is in the community of Bonta. We'll have more live updates coming up after the break. We do have team coverage this morning. Our Mike Tassell just got there to the scene. We're going to check back in with him in just a moment, but we're going to go right now to Melanie Wingo. Melanie, you've been there for some time now. What can you tell us about the scene now?
Well, we're exactly across the street from this fire, and it's such an extraordinary scene, as you can see behind me. It's not just the flames and the smoke, the column of smoke being pushed up into the air on this one, but the extraordinary amount of resources that are flocking to this scene and on this, trying to make sure that this fire doesn't spread. We have fire crews up on this over the flames, ladders up. I'm seeing 3 from our vantage point. I don't know if there's one to the south of where we're located. We're at the intersection of West Grant Line Road and El Rancho Road, where it branches off into 7th Street. And you can see all these firefighting resources battling the flames from a defensive stance, which means in firefighting terms, they're stepping back from it. They're not exactly on the inside of this facility. That would be too dangerous for crews. We have roadblocks up in this immediate area. The traffic impact, as we have been reporting throughout the morning, is intense.
KCRA 3's Mike Tassell is there now, and officials have confirmed those evacuations are in place. Mike?
Yeah, and not just homes, also the railroad track. I'm going to step out of the way, and you can see in front of this fire, you might be able to see the glare of the 2 parallel tracks. This is in the foreground between where we are and the fire. They have stopped railroad traffic in this area because of this fire.
That breaking news is just outside of Tracy, where a pallet yard erupted this morning into flames, and it continues to burn as we take a live look at what crews are dealing with right now. This is a 3-alarm fire. It's massive, and there are a handful of neighboring homes and businesses that have been evacuated.
We do have team coverage this morning with 2 crews there at the scene. Brian Hickey is monitoring the traffic impact, and Tamara Berg has the latest on wind conditions. But we want to start with our Melanie Wingo. She's been there for several hours this morning. Melanie, what more can you tell us about the scene?
Well, we are now just immediately across the street from the fire, and as you can see, it continues to burn, although it appears that fire crews are making some progress based on how things looked immediately upon our arrival right at 4 o'clock. And now we want to bring on Chief Randall Bradley with South County Fire Authority. I was getting some great information from you just a short time ago. Please give us the information that you have. What happened out here at 2 o'clock this morning?
Well, about 1:51 a.m., we got a report of a fire in a pallet yard. Biggest challenge on this fire is water supply. We did not have adequate water supply, and so shuttling water was the big challenge.
Yeah, talk about that if you would. How do you get water to a fire when there is a water supply challenge?
Yes. We use water tenders, and we shuttle water from water supplies in the city with municipal water systems.
And so what's next in the coming hours and even days here out at this site?
Well, as you see, the fire is still well involved, and we will have engines out here for at least a day, and we'll continue to monitor the homes that were threatened, and we'll stay here until the fire is out.
What is the plan at this point to deal with the potential heat impact of this fire later on today?
Yeah, that's a good question, and the chief is still here. We can pull him on real quickly. We know temperatures are going to rise a little bit outside today. The outside temperature, we want to make sure the crews are safe. What are plans typically to help crews avoid, say, heat effects from fighting the fire and heat outside?
Yeah, we rotate them through, make sure they're well hydrated, make sure they have rest periods. So we've already started that process.
All right, very good. Thanks again there, Chief, for all of that information, and we'll continue to stay out here bringing more updates in the coming minutes.
Melanie was standing just to the west of this fire. We're standing just to the south of it. Different perspective from where we are. And you can see the fire itself continuing to burn as the sun's starting to come up for that blue backdrop behind the smoke. But I want to use our vantage point to show you how close this fire is to other structures. Now, as my photographer panning to the right, you'll see that just across the street where we are south of this fire, you can see the reflection of the fire in the front window of this home. For those commuters who are headed to the Tracy Triangle, this is a clearly visible fire from miles away. We could see the orange glow from Lathrop driving south on I-5. This would be your view heading towards the Tracy Triangle from that Stockton area this morning. And it's not just what you can see. I talked to one gentleman who was standing right here with me this morning about what you could feel. Listen.
Oh man, it's intense. I feel like I'm standing at the barbecue making steaks for the family. It's hot, I'm sweating.
We do have team coverage this morning. We have 2 crews there live at the scene. Brian Hickey is monitoring the traffic impact, and Tamara Berg has details on the wind conditions. But we want to start with KCRA 3's Melanie Wingo. She's been there for some time now. Melanie, the sun's up, and I know that's giving a closer look, a more keen look at the scene there now.
Yeah, and we're a little bit closer. I'm standing in the driveway of that pallet facility right now. And just so at home, you're sitting here thinking, what is she doing standing there? We've got fire crews here. They know we're here. We're allowed to be here at this moment. So we do want to give you this close-up look so you can see exactly what fire crews are tackling at this time. In this moment, fire crews are spraying water right down on some pallets that are near where the fire is burning, because as we spoke with the chief of South County Fire Authority in our last half hour, he says that the pallets are just incredible fuel for fires. So what they're trying to do is keep those doused.
Tracy has forced evacuations.
Yeah, take a look at just how big those flames were. This is especially early this morning. It was along Grant Line Road in the community of Banta. This fire started around 2. A nearby elementary school remains closed because of this.
We do have team coverage. Mike DeSalle will explain how the fire is impacting local residents as those evacuations continue. But first we go to Melanie Wingo. She's been at the scene since earlier this morning. Melanie, describe that scene now.
Well, What I can tell you is we're actually on site on the property, and there is a gentleman over here, Diego Herrera, who works at the pallet company that he says has been in business since 2000. He spoke with us a short time ago. He's on a phone call at the moment, but we're going to try to get him to speak with us in a few moments. Can you describe how your company is coming together in this time?
We're coming together. We're all in the same spot that we are right now, especially myself. I see this and then I see almost a completely total loss. But like I mentioned before, hopefully we come stronger than ever, and then we work as a team as we are, and we got to work twice as hard as we were to come back, and we just got to reorganize. And I'm just glad everybody's safe. Nobody was harmed, anything like that. The community itself is showing support too, is showing interest what's going on. And it's hard to see pallets.
And, you know, can you tell our viewers a little bit about how pallets help to move industries that touch our lives every single day? What's a pallet? What does it do? How is it used? And what do you do here at this site?
So what a pallet is a wooden unit that if you go to the grocery store, you depend on a pallet. You know, your groceries move on a pallet, either from frozen goods all the way to vegetables. They move on the pallets.
Our team coverage continues now with KCRA3's Mike DeSalle, who has more on the effect of the people living nearby. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, and good morning. We're on the south side of this fire on G Street between the Banta Market and the Banta Inn, if you're familiar with it, and a much better scene now than it was when we first got here before sunrise this morning.
And as the morning commute starts to go down just a little bit in this area, our super commuters have already made it through. We're starting to see a little less of an impact here on I-5 where it comes into 205. This is the transition ramp right here from the Caltrans camera, and off in the distance you can see that fire. It looks almost like a volcano off in the distance there.
So, Tamara, how is this fire going to impact air quality in that area?
Yeah, you know, we've been seeing just a little bit of particulate matter around some of the areas that are just around the immediate fire and even a little bit beyond. The wind has been very light, so in those earlier images we've been showing you from when the fire really started earlier this morning, you see the smoke just really kind of go straight up.
Team coverage continues now with KCRA3's Mike DeSalle, who has more details on the impact to this community. Mike?
Yeah, and we keep moving around in this small community here. We're along Grant Line and G Street on the other side of the fire from Melody Wingo. I'll step out of the way to give you the perspective as we can see it from the east side of this fire. Crews continue to put some water on it. But again, the big thing to note here is just how different the scene is right now versus what it was earlier, as this is a much less threatening fire.
Now that we have seen the flames die down at the pallet facility proper, we wanted to give you a sense of what the firefighting effort has been like on the ground. And this is just one part of it. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what fire crews officially call a dump tank. We have learned from the fire authority that there have been at least 8 additional agencies helping out with this firefighting effort. See, there he goes. That's what it looks like when the water comes into this dump tank. Again, it can accommodate about 3,000 gallons.
We're on the opposite side of this fire, and speaking of getting water to this fire, while she's talking about the main ladder trucks, if we move over to the left, you'll see PG&E has been focusing on this utility pole, and where they're getting their water from to put on that pole, well, it's from this truck out of Woodbridge. They have a hose line going from their truck to the PG&E crew that again continues to put water on this particular power pole.
Let's give you a live look of the remnants right now from Live Copter 3 hovering over the destruction. You can see exactly how far spread this has all been. You see the smoke and you see some flames continuing to burn right now.
We've watched the progression going from that inferno type scene. Shortly after 2 o'clock this morning, that's when this thing went up. And then when we arrived right after 4 o'clock this morning, it was still cooking. Now we've seen fire crews having made significant progress. However, if you look just beyond where we're standing into the yard at sort of a farther end of the yard than where we are, you can still see flames burning at those pallet piles.
All right, thanks, Mike. I'm going to put my fire hat on first here as we've got these great images from Live Copter 3, and then we'll talk about how that's impacting traffic. As you can see, this GMA pallet yard was described as a 5-acre yard, and you can see there a dust devil that's even developed with the amount of heat that is continuing to rise up. That can every now and then turn up what we see there is a dust devil right in the middle of this whole thing, and you can still see all of the piles on the exterior of the facility there of pallets that continue to burn. But on the top of your screen, you can see again the acreage of what was described by one of the employees there as 80 to 100,000 pallets, wooden pallets.
There is no water supply in the area, so crews are having to shuttle it in. And here is what we know right now. 19 homes were evacuated. 80 to 100,000 pallets were in that yard, and they are now burning or completely burned. Classes at Banta Elementary, right across the street, have been canceled for the day. Again, as we take this live look at that fire that has been burning for several hours now. Now you're taking a live exclusive look from Live Copter 3 of just the massive scene there, just showing just how much crews have had to deal with.
We have team coverage for you on this fire. Brian Hickey will be analyzing what we're seeing from Live Copter 3. Mike Tassell has the impact it's having on the community. But we begin with Melanie Wingo, who continues to gather the very latest information.
We're in the driveway of the GMA pallet recycling facility, and I can tell you they are facing extraordinary loss this morning. Take a look behind me. You can see that the pallets that were in this yard are still smoldering. If there were pallets that were intact, others are reduced to ash and rubble. I'm seeing some flames from my vantage point still at this hour. This fire has been burning since before 2 a.m.
9:55 is your time. Here are 3 things to note today.
We are following breaking news out of San Joaquin County. A massive fire in the unincorporated community of Banta caused more than a dozen homes to be evacuated this morning. It's all happening along West Grand Line Road. Crews are caught out there around 2 o'clock this morning. Here's what we know right now as you take a look at this live picture from Live Copter 3. There are 19 homes that were evacuated. 80 to 100,000 pallets were in that yard that has burned now. And classes at Banta Elementary that are right across the street from this area have been canceled. We'll, of course, keep you updated on this fire throughout the morning. In fact, take a look at this is what the flames look like early this morning when our crews first arrived. Our very own Melanie Wingo was on scene just after 4 o'clock this morning. We brought this to you on KCRA.com.
Fire crews remain on the scene right now of a pallet facility that erupted into flames this morning in San Joaquin County. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lisa Gonzalez. Now, this is all happening right along Grant Line Road in the community of Banta. The fire breaking out about 2 o'clock this morning. Take a look at this video our crews got this morning when the fire was really raging in the early morning hours. You can see how massive those flames were. Fire officials say the fact that the fire is still burning through tons of pallets and a lack of water supply is posing a challenge for firefighters on the scene. The pallet recycling company estimates that the fire destroyed between 80 and 100,000 pallets and the heavy machinery used to move them. KCRA 3's Melanie Wingo has been at the fire scene all morning long and has the newest information about the effort to put out the flames and the impact so much destruction will have on this business.
The firefighting effort still ongoing at this pallet yard in Banta, but what we're seeing right now represents a lot of progress compared to what we saw when we first arrived. Raging flames lighting up the dark sky, a swirling column of ember-filled smoke. The GMA pallet recycling facility with a massive amount of fuel to burn. The fire ravaging the site for hours, the scene visible for miles around, burning so hot and so out of control. Firefighting crews from several agencies in surrounding communities, led by the South County Fire Authority, worked on the ground and from above to keep the fire contained to the pallet yard and away from nearby homes.
Watching it come down to flames is something, you know, it really hurts me. It's something that we never thought we were going to see. Years of work in the making, like I said, it's just all gone, you know.
Daylight revealing the destruction the fire caused.
I see this and then I see almost a completely total loss.
a loss of pallets that move all manner of goods for all kinds of industries, for a business that prides itself on the good it does for the environment.
We buy broken pallets, we recycle them, we fix them, and then we resell them. Instead of making new ones, instead of cutting down some new trees, we recycle the broken pallets and then we get them back on the stream so we can be more sustainable, more eco-friendly.
But the company and its workers remaining determined to rebuild.
It affects us, every single one of us. We hope to plan together and then all come up, rise again, work hard as we were doing, and then start fresh.
According to South County Fire Authority, they do plan to be out here for several more hours, perhaps into the night, making sure the hot spots that remain here on the pallet yard property don't go up and this fire doesn't take off once again. Reporting from Banta, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.